All right, so today's class is database management with command. Right now I am at the command sign-in page. So if you're following along, I am at agent.kw.com. And I'm going to go ahead and get signed in. And I will give you a moment to do the same as well. So once I'm signed in, that brings me to my command dashboard. No, I'm sorry. Today's class is database management. I believe DocuSign will be next week. I can actually check that out real quick while you guys are getting signed in. I'll just go ahead and pull up. So right now, I'm pulling that up on another screen, but I'm at our command dashboard, and we're going to be working in our contacts today. So we're going to go back and forth between, we're going to start in our database in the contact section, and then we'll jump over to our settings at the end of class. So to get started, you can see the widget menu over here to the left. These are the different parts of command, different widgets, different sections. While you're still learning this menu, you can actually click on the KW up at the top left, and it will expand this menu and show the names of these different widgets. And today we're going to be working in contacts. So go ahead and click on the second option from the top, and that'll bring us into our database. Yeah, today's database management, our DocuSign 101 was on the 6th of this month. I believe it's always the first Thursday of the month. So you can find that on our website, and I'll just go ahead and drop that in here. We did record that class, so you can go to slmtraining.com and see that recorded class. All right, so we are in our contacts section. This is our database here. And let's go ahead and just start today by adding a contact. There are a few different ways that you can add contacts to your database. You can do so by adding a contact individually. You can import contacts. And you can also use a feature called Pisync to sync over contacts from different apps or websites that you may be using. So we're going to start today by simply adding a contact. So you'll see this button up at the top right that says Add Contact, and I'll go ahead and click on that. And we are basically just going to work our way through this form and fill in as much information as possible. So the cool thing about command is the only information that's required to add a contact is a full name. So you can add people to your database if you need to. If you don't have their email or phone number or further information, you can add them with just their name. So I'll start by adding the name. If you click Add Relationship, you can add in additional relationships or family members. So if you know their spouse's name, different family members, business partners, things like that, you can add in this information here. We have some options for email. This is asking for the primary email, which can be either a personal, work, or other. I'll go ahead and enter a work email. You can add in a phone number as well. And we will have options down below to add in additional emails or phone numbers. If you are on a team, you can select the owner of this contact. You can mark them as a lead or add them to the sales pipeline. And then down at the bottom, we have this section called tags. So in command, we don't have the option to create groups, but instead we use tags. These tags are either added in from KW. There are some default tags or system tags that you can use, or we can actually go into our settings and create new tags. And I'll show you that a little later on today. So your tags will need to be created ahead of time. You can scroll through and search for your tags here. Anything with this gray box around it, that would be a system tag, a tag created by Keller Williams. And anything in these other colors, these would be tags that we custom created. Again, these are added in from your settings. So I can find the tags I'd like to use. And that'll just make it easier when I'm searching through and filtering through my contacts. And that's the basics of what you can add in. I'm actually going to go through these drop downs down here as well to add in additional information. So I'm going to click additional contact information. I can choose the preferred method of contact. I can add in additional emails or phone numbers. I can add in an address. If you would like to create mailing labels, which I'm going to show you today, the address will need to be marked as a mailing address, and you can select this bubble here. So I'll go ahead and just add in an address and select mailing address, and that will allow me to export mailing labels. If you have any social profiles for this contact, if you know their Facebook page or any other social profiles, you can add that in. And you can see once I start typing in this box, it adds in the first part of the URL for me. So I just need to type in what comes after facebook.com/, and I just typed in Scott Leroy Marketing. And you can add in additional profiles as well. All right, moving right along, we will click on About. You can add in a legal name for this contact, a description. You can say something like met at open house. If you know their birthday or home anniversary, you can add that in here. If you're wanting to set up the birthday or home anniversary smart plans, this information would need to be saved for the contact in order to add them to the plan. There's a spot for some additional relationships. So maybe you added the spouse up above in that first section. You can add in any children or additional family members or relationships here. And the last part of this section is work. So if you know the company that they work at, you can add that in here. You can either choose some of these, where'd it go? Companies that are added in, or you can actually type in the company name and add it as a new company and a job title. Moving right along, our sales pipeline, you can add in the stage for this contact, whether they are captured or connected, and then add in a lead source. So at this time, there's no way to add in a custom lead source, but if your lead came from any one of these system lead sources, so these are added in from KW, you can select any one of these. Down at the very bottom, there is a custom section. So in addition to creating those custom tags for your contacts, you can also add in custom fields. A custom field is kind of like a custom question of information you may want to store for a contact. And I'll show you how to create these in our settings. But basically, if you wanted to store information for a contact and you didn't have the option in any of these places up above, like say, for example, you wanted to know their favorite restaurant or their favorite sports team, you could actually add that in as a custom field and save that information for the contact. And I'll show you how you can create those later on. So once you've added in as much information as possible, you can click Create, and it will add this person to your database. Oh, it says email already in use. So I did wipe out my archive earlier, so I'm not quite sure why it's still showing that this person is in my database. So I'll just add in a different person, and there we go. All right, you can see this person was added in right away. And I'm not going to be able to answer everyone's questions today, but let me take a quick peek at this. I don't know if there's a limit on tags. I think you can add in as many as you'd like. I don't, if there is a limit, I don't know what it is, but I'm not sure if there is one. I don't believe so. And then from market leader, there is some workaround with that. You can manually import them, and I know you're asking for an automatic sync. The only way to do the automatic sync would be to automatically sync your market leader contacts to Gmail and then set up a Gmail sync through Pisync. And I'm going to show you Pisync later on in the class, and then I'll go through the filters here in a moment. And then about incognito mode, so we say typically the best way to use command is in Chrome. We've seen it just work best in this browser. And then incognito mode is preferred as well. And you can set that up. On my screen, it's a little different. You might have like a ... over here. And I believe if you click on that, you'll have the option to go into incognito mode. I'm on a Mac, so I think it's somewhere up here. But I believe for you, for most of you, oh yeah, see, I have new incognito window, but you should have an option down toward here that's a little ... and it'll allow you to go into incognito mode. All right, so that was adding a contact individually. Another way you can add contacts is by importing. So if you have a large group of contacts or contact list from another system or even contacts from your phone, the easiest way for you to add them would be importing. So I'm going to click this import button here. Command, you do have to use an import template. So unfortunately, if you have an Excel spreadsheet of contacts, you can't just import that directly. You would have to convert it to the command import template to add it into the system. So I click that import button and I have the option to download the CSV or pre-made template here. So I'm going to click that download button and we'll open that up and I'll show you how you can convert your contacts. All right, so this is the command import template. So you'll see once I get this fully opened up, you'll see there are a lot of fields on here. So you don't have to add in every single field, but it's good to add in as much as you can. Please note the system should weed out any duplicates for you. If you have contacts in the system already and you try importing them, unfortunately, it won't update those existing contacts. It's just going to cause them to not be imported. It will block them from importing. So what you would need to do, if you had your own contact list, you would basically just need to copy and paste your contacts into this template for importing. I'm just going to go through and start manually adding some people so you can see what I add in and how we can import that into the system. So I'm adding in a first name, a last name, and I will add in an email down here. I always like to add in some Disney characters as well. We like to do Friends characters, Disney characters, things like that. All right, so those are the basics. Of course, I can add in phone numbers. You can see there are spots for a mobile phone number here, home phone number, and work phone number. If I scroll over, you can see there are some spots for an address, birthday, home anniversary, you can add that in as well. And then you can actually tag contacts when you're importing. So here are those system tags. Those are the tags added in by Keller Williams, things like buyer, seller, bought, sold, agent. But you can also add in custom tags, which is really cool. And you can create those custom tags when you're importing as well. So I know we have the tag in there, SLM employee. So I'll just tag these first couple people that. And I'll add in a tag for Disney here. And of course, if I wanted to use multiple tags for these contacts, that is possible as well. You can just add a comma in between and add in that custom tag. You can add in their social media profiles as well. And then if I wanted to use these custom tags, like let's say Mickey Mouse is also a buyer, I can just add a Y in this column and it will tag Mickey as a buyer when we're importing. So you'd basically just go through and add in your contacts. You can't make changes to this column here. So you can't, unfortunately, change the names of these different items. You do have to leave this alone. You can only import the information that it's asking for here. So you will have to do your best to make your list fit into this template. But once you have all of your contacts in here, you can go ahead and save. Ooh, I'm gonna do save as. Nope, goodness, I'm clicking the wrong thing, guys. All right, so now my list is good to go. I'm gonna go back into Command. And now I can browse on my computer to select the file. Choose my file and import the contacts. And you'll see this actually works really quickly. There's not much of a delay on these. So this is working. I will need to refresh my page in order to see the new contacts. So I'll go ahead and do that. And there we go. We can see that my contacts were imported. And I combined our two Britneys here. I'm just realizing. We have a Brittany Potts and a Brittany Duval. I'll actually show you later on how you can edit these contacts and delete them. But you can see my import did come through. And my tags went through as well. And before I show you all of this information and all the good things you can see and do, let me see if I can answer just a couple more questions before we keep going. So I don't think there is a way to add in the spouse's birth date. I believe you can only add in the system, like for what they provide for you, you can only add in one birthday, but you can create a custom field for the spouse's birthday. So I'll show you that when we go into our settings and we create the custom fields. So I will show you that. And I'm sorry, guys, if I don't get to your questions today, please shoot us an email after class and we would be happy to look into those issues further for you. All right, so now this is displaying all of my contacts. You can see names are displayed here on the left. Anything with this little L, whoop, I didn't mean to click on her name. Anything with this little L means this contact is a lead. We can see the last time they visited and last time they were contacted, the tags associated with this contact, the stage they may be in, primary phone number, primary email, and the last time they were updated. You can actually customize these columns. So if you don't want to see some of this information or you'd rather see different information, all you would need to do is click this Customize Columns button. On the left, you can see all of the available columns. So these are the different items that you can display. So let's say I don't need to see the stage they're in, the last visited, last contacted. Maybe I want to see their birth date, their company, and their mailing address instead. You can add or remove columns, and you can also move them around by dragging and dropping. So I'll move up the mailing address behind the email. And when I click apply, you will see that my columns have been updated and it's only showing the information that I want to see. So I do want to point out though, if I were to refresh my page, my columns would go back to that original view. So if you like this view and you want to see your contacts information in this order every single time, you're going to want to update your smart view. So we have a couple different ways that we can search through our contacts, search and filter, and I'll go ahead and explain all of those. Up here to the left, you can see there's a search bar. This is going to be great, the search bar and these filters and smart views if you have a lot of contacts. For me, I only have 9 people in here, so I can see everyone at once. But if I had multiple pages of contacts, I'm going to need the option to filter through and search through them. So I can use this search bar here to search by first name, last name, email, address, or just everything. I can type in what I'm searching for here, hit enter, and it will search through my contacts and only filter out through what I'm searching for. You also have this filters button. You can use these filters to search for contacts. You can search by all contacts. If you only wanted to see leads, you could select leads only. You can search by tag, by system tags. These are those tags added in by KW or your custom tags that you have created. You can search by company, lead source, and this additional information. Unfortunately, there is not, I think somebody asked if there was a way to search by custom field or filter by custom field. Unfortunately, there is not. We only have these options for filtering. And before I actually do this, I do want to explain the smart view since I did have my columns customized here. So these smart views, a smart view is basically a custom filter that you can use. So I pointed out that I changed my columns here and I don't want them to go back to the original way. So these smart views are custom filters. And let's say right now we're just on the general all contact smart view. So it's just showing everybody. If I want to go ahead and update this, I can update my regular smart view, just the all contacts, so that I will only see these columns. So if I actually just click Save Smart View Changes, now when I come into my database, it'll be set to this default all contacts, and it will only show me these columns in the way that I rearrange them. So if you wanted to create a new smart view, so let's say I know that I'm frequently going to be searching for people in my database who are leads and also SLM employees. And you can use whatever combination of items that you know you're going to be searching for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in my filters and filter out those people that I'm searching for. So I said leads, and then I'll search by tag. And when I click apply, it's only going to filter out those contacts who are leads, but also SLM employees. So now, to save myself some time in the future, I'm going to create a smart view. So I'm going to click on the smart view dropdown and click create smart view. And it's basically just going to save these filters that I have set up. So I'll name this one as SLM employee leads. If I wanted to make this set this as the default, so every time I sign in, it's automatically showing these people, I could do that as well. But I'll go ahead and click Save Smart View. And let me just go ahead and show you how this works. So I'm going to clear out my filters really quick. I'm going to click on Filters On and Clear All. It's basically just going to erase the filters I have set up. So now I'm back in my general database, and I want to see that smart view that I just created. Now I can just click on the smart views option. It shows it's already selected, but it's actually not. I'll just go ahead and click on that. And you can see it's much quicker to filter out those people. So like I said, if you are going to be frequently searching for contacts in a specific way via the filters, definitely set up smart views because it's easier to just click one button here than have to go through and select all of those filters. And I'm going to turn that filter off again and show you some more things that we can do in here. All right, so some additional options. Up here at the top right, we do have this little dot, dot, dot button. This is a newer feature. If you wanted to export all of your contacts, export mailing labels, you can also export the mailing labels as a PDF. Before, we only had the option to export them as a CSV file, and you had to go through this process of creating a mail merge and creating the labels, and it was a little complicated, but now you can actually export the labels as a PDF, which is awesome. So let's say you're in here and you want to export all of your contacts. The easiest way to do that would be to click this dot, dot, dot. And actually, let me click on this because we're going to see the notification up here, and I just want to clear this out. There we go. All right, so to export all of my contacts, I would click on this dot, dot, dot button here, export all contacts, and it says up here at the top, oop, it's already gone. Your export is being processed, check your notifications. So this actually also works really, really quickly. Everything in Command with the contacts usually works pretty immediately, which is awesome. So what I can do is if I refresh this page, I should now see a little red dot. And that means I have a new notification. And even before that little red dot was there, I could have just clicked on the bell and it would have shown me the notification as well. But I'll click on that and it says your contact export is complete. I can download the file here, save it to my computer, and I now have access to that. And I'm going to go ahead and dismiss that notification. So I'm going to do that one more time just so I can show you that I didn't actually have to refresh the page. I just wanted you to see the little red dot to show that there is a new notification. But if I just click export all and then click on the bell again, you'll see that it's there. Oh, and then it did pop up that dot as well. All right, so that's one way that you can export all of your contacts or create mailing labels. We do also have some bulk actions that we can do. So I'm going to just go over here and select some contacts. And you can see we now have this new button for select bulk action. And we have a few options here. For these contacts that I've selected, I can add a note. I can archive them, which I'll explain here in just a moment. I can send a bulk text, add bulk tags. So if I wanted to add in tags for all of these contacts, I can do that here. Just click on that and select the tag I'd like to use. I'll just tag all of these people as agent, and you'll see that updates right away. Now those contacts are tagged as agent. We can also add them to an email list, share the contacts if we're on a team, mark as leads. We can unmark as leads. I can add these contacts to a smart plan. I can also export. So if you're looking to only export certain contacts rather than exporting all of them, you would go through this bulk action option here. Same thing with mailing labels. All right, so to delete contacts in Command, there's not a way to just do a straightforward delete. You do actually have to archive them first, which I think is great because it makes it harder to accidentally delete contacts you didn't mean to. So if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to archive or I wanted to delete these contacts. There's a couple different ways I can do that. I'm first going to do it from this bulk action screen. So I've selected the contacts I would like to delete. I'm going to click select bulk action. and then archive. And it's going to ask me if I'm sure. I'll go ahead and click archive. And you'll see once this refreshes, that moves them out of my database. So even though they're not appearing here, they are still in the system. They are just saved in the archive. So when we go into our settings, I'll show you where those contacts are, basically just hiding them, storing them in a different place. And then I can choose to either permanently delete them, or if I wanted to, I can move them back into my database. If I were to try to add in one of those contacts that I just archived, like if I were to go to add contact and try and add them to my database again, it's going to tell them that that contact already exists. So you will have to fully delete them if you want to, or just move them back into the database. So if it's giving you that message, they may actually be stored in your archive. Another way you can delete a contact or archive and then delete is individually. So let's say I'll just click on the contact's name here. We're going to come back here and I'll show you all of this information as well. But another way that you can archive is click on this archive button here. And that'll move them to the archive as well. All right, so we're going to switch gears. I do want to go into the settings to just point out a couple more things. Some of those things I've been mentioning. So to get into our settings, I'm going to click on Scott's name. You'll click on your name up at the top right. And let's go ahead and click settings. And let's see if I can answer a couple more questions. You can add in, yeah, great question. Yeah, you can add in the custom tag at that time. You don't have to add it in your settings ahead of time. You can just type in that custom tag and you can copy and paste it for the whole column and it'll actually create that custom tag and save it in the system for you. All right, so now we are in our settings. I'm going to go ahead and click on command settings over here. And let's click on contacts. And we'll first go into the contact archive. All right, so here are those contacts that I just archived. So this is, I think, a great process. You can store contacts in here as long as you need to. If you have a lot of people in here, you can search for people through this search bar, their first name, last name, and then the date and time they are archived is displayed here. So you can use this a couple different ways. Of course, you can just move people over here and delete them. But maybe you have a client who you want to keep in touch with them, but they're not ready to buy or sell just yet. And you don't want to accidentally like email them or what have you. So you can actually just move them to the contact archive and you can store them here as long as you need to. And then when they're ready to be active again, you can just go ahead and click restore. And that will move them back over to the database. And it didn't actually display, now it's saying invalid date. So I'm just going to refresh and Anne should be out of my data or out of the archive. There you go. So now she's actually back in my database, in my contacts. You can also delete. So I'll go ahead and click on this trash can button here. If I wanted to just go ahead and select multiple people, I can do that and I can restore the selected, so move these contacts back to the database or delete them permanently. So I'll go ahead and do that. Over here on the left, I'll click database wipe. This is going to be the quickest way to just completely wipe out your database. It's still the same two steps. You will have to archive the contacts first. You can click archive all contacts here and that'll move everybody over from the contact section into the contact archive. So you just have to click this, wait a second, and then click delete all, and it will completely wipe your database. So please note, once you permanently delete someone, you won't be able to get them back. Our custom tags are added here. We can see the tag name over on the left, how many contacts are linked to those tags, who created it, so these were created by us, the date they were created, and then if you ever wanted to edit these, you can click on the little pencil button. Or delete them, you can click on the trash can. So if I wanted to create a new tag, I can click on this button here. They have some examples: builder, luxury, platinum club, SOI. So it's basically like how you want to group your contacts. I'll add in my PTA group. You can also choose a color for those tags. That's going to help you when you're searching. Click create. And now I will have the option to tag contacts with that tag I just created. And now custom fields. Somebody did ask about a spouse birthday, which was a great question. These are our custom fields here. Of course, the information is displayed. If I wanted to create a new custom field, this is pretty much the same process of the custom tags. I'll go ahead and click create new custom field. So again, this is basically like a custom space for information you might want to store about a contact. So they have examples like favorite sports team, hometown. Somebody said spouse birthday. Because the system doesn't have a spot for spouse birthday, but we can add it in as a custom field. So I'll type in the field name, and then the field type is basically how we're going to answer that question. So if we wanted to just write it in, like if this was, say, favorite sports team, we would just need a box to write that answer in. I'm going to choose date for spouse birthday, and that will allow me to add in the date of this person's birthday. So I'll go ahead and click create. And now if I were to go back to my contacts, I can actually have the option now to save the spouse's birthday in that custom field section. The last thing I want to show you in here are the import logs. So I clicked import logs and my logs. This is really cool as well. Command actually keeps track of all your imports that you've done. So you can see it'll show the date that the import was started and completed, how many contacts were imported and how many failed. So it looks like we had 4 contacts import and 2 failed. You can actually download the original file. So if you ever need any previous imports you've done, they are stored here for you, which is great. And if you wanted to know why these contacts failed, you can actually download the error file. It'll show you the names of those contacts and exactly why they were not added to the system. All right, so back over here in command settings, I'm going to click applications. And I want to show you Pisync. So somebody asked about syncing over their database from Market Leader. So it's kind of a workaround to do that, but it is possible. So here in this applications page, you can see all of the apps that I have currently connected to Command. The ones that are connected are up toward the top. Looks like we actually have Pisync connected here. I'm going to click disconnect account. We can go through this for the first time together. So I'm going to scroll down and find Pisync. And for any of these apps, if you want to connect them, you will go ahead and click the Connect Account button on the right. And I'll go ahead and explain a little bit about what Pisync is. So Pisync is this really cool tool or application that helps you bring over contacts from a number of apps that you may have contacts stored in. Oh, and it looks like I have to look at this privacy policy. Okay. All right. So basically, if you have contacts stored in any one of these apps, you can use Pisync to automatically bring them over into your database. So I'm going to choose Google Contacts. So for that person who asked about Market Leader, in Market Leader or eEdge, you have the option to set up a sync from Market Leader to Google. So you'd have to do that first, and then you can sync over from Google to Command through Pisync. So I'm going to choose Google, and it'll have you sign in. So you can add a new account. We actually have some accounts added here. I'll just choose my email. And then I will need to click Configure the sync between Google Contacts and Command. All right, so this is basically where I'm going to set up how it's going to bring my contacts over. So you'll see it's going to be Google and KW Command that are communicating with each other. We have the option to choose what sort of sync we'd like to use. If I want to do a one-way sync, I only want to bring over contacts from Google into Command, I can do that. If I want to only bring over contacts, move them from Command to Google, I can do that. Or we can set up a two-way sync, so basically they'll communicate each way. And if a contact is added here, it'll go to Command. If a contact's added here, it'll go to Google. So you can choose what type of sync you would like to set up. And then these are the connection rules. It's basically saying exactly what I just said. We have a two-way sync set up. So if a contact is in Google Contacts, it will do a two-way sync between Google and Command. We have some connection settings. I only want to sync contacts that have an email address. You can choose yes or no for that, or any of these additional options. And the only thing you kind of want to take just a quick glance at would be these field mappings. So this is basically saying how they're going to match up the different fields between wherever you're importing from to Command. So for example, in Google, they have a place called job title. In Command, it's called title or profession. So if anything is stored under job title in Google Chrome or Google Contacts, it's going to put that in the title or profession section in Command. So usually these match up pretty perfectly, but you might just want to take a quick glance at that. And you can add in additional field mappings here as well. And then once this is all good to go, you can click Start Syncing Now, and that will bring over your contacts. I'm just going to click Save for later because I don't actually want to bring over my email contacts into Command at this time. But there you go, really simple to set up. I believe the first sync is free. Anything after that, it is, I believe, a paid service. So you'll want to check on Pisync's website for more information about that. So it is a subscription service. So I'll go ahead and X out of that. And actually, let's go back to our database for a moment before we wrap up today. So I'm going to click on the icon here for contacts. We're back in our database. And I'm going to click on Scott's name. All right. So here we can just see more information about the contact. You'll see a health score here. We like to say anything above 50% is good. So as long as you're in the green above 50%, your contact is healthy, as they say. Because for everyone, you won't have all of the information that it's looking for. So it is a little difficult to get everyone to 100%. You might not know someone's birthday, or maybe they haven't purchased, so you won't have a purchase anniversary. So don't worry if this is not 100%. We just say anything above 50 or in the green is good. So you can see this contact is marked as a lead. We can see their tags here, contact information. If I wanted to, I can click Add to Smart Plan to add this contact to a Smart Plan. I can edit the contact, or here's that archive button again. So I just want to point out, I do want to show you guys that spouse birthday since that was asked a couple times. So let's say I know Scott's wife's birthday. I can actually add that in now because we created that custom field. So I'll click on the pencil button. And if you ever need to update a contact's information or make changes, you would just come in here. I'm going to go down to where that information was before, click on Custom. Now when I click Add a Custom Field, spouse birthday should hopefully be there. Yep, there it is. And I can choose the date. I'm just picking a random date. All right, so I can click Save, and now that information is saved for this contact. Let's see where it is. Here we go, down at Custom Fields, that is stored. Over here on the right, we can see a timeline of activity with this contact. We can see any opportunities. We can create a new opportunity from here. We can see smart plans if we wanted to set up this contact on a smart plan or view any smart plans that they are currently on. That information is displayed here. Tasks, we can see any tasks associated with this contact or add a new task by clicking this button. Basically like a checklist or to-do list for this contact. You can add in notes and save searches. If this contact is using your app, you can actually see any saved searches here. If I were to click on this plus sign, I can add activity for this contact, add a note, or add a calendar event. Now, the last thing I want to point out is this neighborhood section. And let me go ahead and clear this out so we can just see it fresh. So here we have the opportunity to create a neighborhood landing page for this contact. So let's say this contact is a buyer and they are interested in a few different neighborhoods in their area or whatever area they're looking to move to. We can set up these awesome neighborhood landing pages. So to do that, you would need to come into the individual contact, click Add Neighborhood, and we can start adding in neighborhoods. So these neighborhoods are added from next door. And so if you don't find the exact neighborhood you're looking for, I'll show you a workaround for that. You can just start typing in neighborhoods here. And it's going to generate a landing page for us. So I typed in Vandy Bell in Nashville. It's going to show some suggested neighborhoods as well. So I can do that. So I can type them in. I can go off these suggested, or I can find on map. So when I click Find on Map, it's going to bring up this window. So if you're having trouble finding a specific neighborhood, I'll show you how you can kind of piece it together. So I'll say Music Row. So let's say you're looking for a neighborhood and you know it's in a certain area, you know it's called whatever it is, but it's just not bringing it up through the search. The best thing for you to do would be to go through this map feature and you can kind of piece it together that way. So you can see this has broken down all of Nashville into the different neighborhoods, and I can actually just select neighborhoods from the map. I'll go ahead and click Save. And now let me go ahead and show you what this landing page actually looks like. So I'm going to click Copy Link, and I'll go ahead and paste this into a new, oh my goodness, what am I doing? A new tab. So this is a custom neighborhood landing page, neighborhood snapshot page that you can send to your clients. So you can see on this first page, a snapshot page. They can see listings, scroll through listings in this area, see them on the map. They can select different neighborhoods here. These are the ones that we added in, or they can add in additional neighborhoods themselves. Wow, this is a beautiful home. And then down at the bottom, it has your contact information, your footer, and all of this. This all pulls from your marketing profile in Command. So this is basically just featuring listings in these neighborhoods. But if we click on this neighborhood stats button, it gets more detailed. So let's say your client is wanting to live in Music Row. It shows us how many homes are for sale, how many are pending, and some stats here: average home price, price per square foot, and days on the market. Some more stats down below. Transit and commute, if this person is looking to live in this part of town, but maybe they work in a different part of town, or their kids go to school in a different part of town, you can actually search for a place here and it'll show you what the commute will look like. information on nearby schools, and then places. They can actually go through and check out different restaurants, grocery stores, cafes, and different places in the area. Some more featured listings down below, and then some information about nearby neighborhoods. And of course, at the bottom, it wraps up with all of your contact info. So this is just a great way for you to create a custom landing page for your clients. You can send them this link directly. If you wanted to, you can create just a general one. I would add in, if I were you and you wanted to use just like a general one that you could post on your Facebook or things like that, or send out to people just a general one, you could add yourself as a test contact and create the neighborhood page that way. All right, so that is actually about it for today. I'm gonna see if I can answer just a couple more questions before we wrap up. No, there's not a way to create a custom, like a custom neighborhood on these maps, unfortunately. But because so the neighborhoods are all pulled over from next door. So unfortunately, there's not a way to do that. You would have to work with the neighborhoods on here. And then more questions about, where to go? The spouse's birthday? No, the smart plans will only pull from this section, the birthday that's added in here. So if you're wanting to add someone's spouse and put them on a birthday smart plan, you might just want to add them as their own individual contact. Great questions today. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up our contact information here. If I know I wasn't able to get to everyone's questions today, but I do want you guys to reach out to us if you need further help or further information. So our phone number and email are displayed here. We are here Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. So if there's anything else that you need or we can help you with, please feel free to reach out. If not, thank you guys so much, and we will talk to you soon.